All right, everybody, welcome to the Shonen Speakeasy. It's L.Q.
And it's Big Chill, aka Landon, aka you know who it is.
And we keeping things short today. We want to talk about sports. It's okay if you don't want to listen to us talk about sports, you can skip it. It's fine. Our feelings won't be hurt, but our rating would. So, so we had some wild games for week 2 in football. And just to let you guys know, we are watching Monday Night Football. So this is the end of the games for week 2. Yes, we know primetime Kirk Cousins can't play well. And dear God, the Titans look like one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah, just back-to-back atrocious football games. If I was to try to introduce somebody to football, and today would have been the night, I wouldn't blame them if they never watch football ever again.
Honestly, I would think that it would be cool to introduce him on tonight. I would like blowout games
to show them how bad things can be.
Yeah, show them look at that winning team. This is what a dominant team can do. Now, don't root for the other guys. We'll give you some better stuff on Sunday. But there's I guess we can start with the games first because my big topic I'm probably gonna have a bit of a rant on, but I don't even think you're really gonna disagree with that much.
I know where you're going.
I'm pulling receipts for people that really wanted to test me on Facebook, I guess. But what was your favorite and least favorite game this week?
And unfortunately, I know you may not want to hear it, but definitely the Baltimore and Miami game was my favorite of the week, for sure. Just because of how electric it was, like the fact that the Ravens was up big, and then all of a sudden, Miami comes back and make it a game. Now I didn't expect them to overtake Baltimore and win, but the fact that Tyreek and Water was going off that crazy and almost over 500, that's insane to me.
It was insane. Honestly, that was still, I know it sounds weird, but that was still my game of the week too. I mean, I can accept a loss as a loss and a win as a win for teams that I like. Mm-hmm. But that was crazy. And it also was a nice display for Tua. Tua's the person that everybody's been saying in 2 years they're gonna replace him and he's gonna be on somebody's bench in 2 years. And I'm just like, oh, look at that. Not so bad, eh?
Yeah, that is very fair.
But then also on the flip side, the Dolphins still are touted for having a good defense, and they do. Respectfully, they do. But to see Lamar throw for 300, which people continuously say he doesn't do, and then also run for 100 yards, which people say that's the only thing he can do, that was a great display from both teams. But both defensive coordinators are probably in the hot seat pretty soon. Especially because you got to think about it. Brian Flores left the Miami's defense on a great note, and they have extreme amount of talent on that side of defense. They have probably, by name, not by skill, but by name, the best defensive backs in the NFL.
No doubt.
So to see that somebody throws for 300, runs for 100 on you, that's pretty sad. I mean, Kyle Fuller, of course, started the Ravens injury curse all over again by being pretty much out for the season after the first week of NFL. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, that is my best game of the week, quickly followed by a game that nobody else cared about probably except for me, which was the Browns and the Jets.
Oh man.
I have never seen a meltdown that bad. You thought the Ravens meltdown was bad. At least it took them an entire half of football and they did score. Mm-hmm. The Jets won in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. Just going back and looking at the replay of that, because I was watching it live and I'm just like, how did that? There's only one team that will happen to, and that's the Browns.
Yeah. Juju was right, but also Juju's still trash. But Juju is right. Browns is the Browns. The Browns will be the Browns.
Yeah, it's insane.
What was your worst game? Game that you were just like, why would anybody watch this?
To be honest, I think I was going back and forth between two games, but the one I settled on was the Broncos and Texans. That game was atrocious. It was
Yeah,
so bad.
it was pretty bad. I don't
Like
really think anybody was dying to see that game,
like
but
I guess the only reason you would want to see it just because like Russell Wilson first home game expecting to, have like a 300-yard game, maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns against the Texans, but that didn't happen at all.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's really nothing else to add to that.
Yeah, like it was pretty bad, man, to watch and definitely bad to bet on, but it was only $5, so I ain't gonna trip about that. But
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
but another game was also the Chicago and Green Bay game. I thought that was not a good game to watch either.
I
Like
mean,
Justin
for
Fields throwing for like what 70
70
yards or something like
yards,
that. That's just bad, bro.
I actually will go against the grain on worst game. Don't worry, I'm not going to say the Cowboys and Bengals, even though that was honestly a pretty boring game itself.
It was
Um,
second half was boring. First half was kind of
yeah,
entertaining
yeah, but
as a Cowboys fan.
Steelers Patriots was boring as hell. It
That's
was so
fair.
boring.
That's
Like
very fair.
Mac Jones, it was a battle of two very mediocre quarterbacks. And it wasn't just that it isn't just that they're mediocre. They're not multifaceted quarterbacks. So, like with Justin Fields, he may have thrown for 70 yards, but he had a rushing touchdown. And then
Yeah.
David Montgomery had a good game. With the
Mhm.
Patriots, it was like, okay, Damian Harris ran for 71 yards, got a touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson ran for 47 yards. Najee Harris ran for 49 yards. And they're one of their fullbacks, Gunnar Olszewski, whatever his name is.
Olszewski.
Yeah, he ran for 18 yards on one run. The rest of everything was so dull. Like I really genuinely thought the Denver Houston game was bad till I went back and watched the Patriots Steelers game. I was like, oh, this is just trash.
Yeah. It was the battle of the mid. Mr. Trubisky proving why Chicago was stupid as hell to trade up to get him. And then also, of course, Mac Jones, Lord have mercy, man. Like
Yeah.
the fact that Bill Belichick couldn't even determine who gonna be the offensive coordinator, it shows clearly in their offense. Like
Yeah.
their offense is just it's just poorly scripted. But Mr. Trubisky, man, oh my goodness, I feel bad for Steelers fans just because they always usually have a lot of talent, but it's always underutilized. Like the last 2 or 3 years of Big Ben, and then here you go again with another similar quarterback in Mr. Trubisky. Except he got no excuse. You're young, bro. Like it's not like you have to be a stationary target, but when you actually do throw the ball, it's either selling over people, underthrows, and like into double coverage or something like that. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Like, geez, man. Like these NFL quarterbacks, they would trip me out. Like, I see why. Like they have the draft every year, and it's always, oh, who's the best quarterback available? Who's the best quarterback available? Because they're always shipping these quarterbacks out within 2 or 3 years.
Yep. And
Like,
nobody's developing anyone.
yeah, man. Like it's pretty bad, man. Like look at Carson Wentz, third team already. Uh, Golf, I
Playing
think.
pretty well, by the way.
Yeah, he had a pretty good
Yeah.
game the first week. Second week, Detroit is actually looking legit. So I mean, I guess I'll cut him a break for that. But the way he started the game, he was looking pretty bad.
Yeah. Detroit lost to potential NFC champion in the Eagles, which is wild to even say again.
Very wild.
Oh well. Don't bother
But
me that much.
I mean, I'm not tripping because, like I said from the get go, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I know I have realistic expectations. And if you were to ask me, hey, well, don't you always think your team should go to the Super Bowl? Hell no.
Hell no.
They haven't been in 26 years, and this ain't gonna be the year either. So
Well said.
Cooper Rush can win. Yeah, I know, but they can win 2, 3, 4 games while Dak is out, and I'm still not going to pick them because I've seen what they can do on the offense, and it's not much. I'm impressed by their defense, but offensively, a lot of work to to be had, and I don't think they had the personnel to even match up. So it's basically the Eagles probably to lose because the Rams. I don't know what to think about them right now, honestly.
The Rams are going to be turnover machines, and that's what's going to be their downfall. That's it.
Because the fact that Atlanta almost came back and beat them was pretty nasty to me.
But hey, Jalen Ramsey said his bounce back was going to be legendary, and boy, that pick to seal the game. That pick to seal the game was nice. I was like, all right.
Was. Yeah, you had to make up for being cooked by Stephon Diggs first night.
Right. I mean, but it's Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I'm about to say it is a top 5 receiver, so you can't really fault him for that.
And to me, top 3 receiver. And I'm just like, what the hell do you expect? Honestly, that literally was my response. I was like, what the hell do you expect?
Man,
he's faster.
He's
he's just as big. He's faster. He has an insane route tree. It's Stephon Diggs, bro. Minnesota Miracle. That's honestly, that's it.
Yeah.
Refer to that play for his career forever. Even if he has done better things, don't care. That's one of the greatest plays of all time.
And he's all he's done is upgrade from quarterback. Case Keenum, well, I guess Kirk Cousins to Case Keenum. I guess that's an upgrade. I guess
it is. Don't bullshit yourself.
Well, I guess
Case Keenum can't even throw 30 yards, bro. Give Kirk Cousins his respects.
Hey, if it's not prime time, then it's an upgrade. I'll go there.
I wouldn't even say even then. I wouldn't want Case Keenum starting for me if it's prime time. I wouldn't switch him out then.
I don't know, man. Kirk Cousins is really bad at prime time, bro.
He is.
But yeah, he's got the best upgrade now at Josh Allen. So I mean, you couldn't ask for a better quarterback. At least not too many.
Yeah, not really. You can't.
It's probably like maybe 2 that I can be like, okay, I can see him doing the same thing with those.
Exactly.
That's Herbert and Mahomes. That's about it.
Yeah, that's true. Now, what other 4 receivers would fill out your top 5? And if you want to put them in order, go for it.
I don't think I really have an order, but for sure Diggs 1, Cooper Kupp 2, Tyreek Hill 3. Let me see who else. I think I wrote it down the other day.
And forget Devontae Adams.
Oh yeah, how did I forget Devontae? And it was
that's exactly.
And it was somebody else too. No, it was somebody else. I forgot. Who was it?
Was it Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, that nigga. I'm over here watching the game and I forgot his name. I mean, those are my 5. I know somebody would probably say Jamar Chase too, but I can't put him over any of those 5, especially Tyreek. Because they were arguing Tyreek should be taken out for Jamar Chase, and I'm sorry, I can't take Tyreek out.
Wow.
Yeah.
No. Wow. No. Just no. So my top 5, I actually do have an order. I think number 1 is still Devontae Adams. Yes, you can bring up the Triple Crown. You can bring up the Super Bowl. You can bring up anything you want with Cooper Kupp. If I do an eye test and look at how skilled they are just with what they have in their possession, I think Devontae Adams is the most skilled receiver in the NFL. Cooper Kupp is almost 1A because I don't think he's far behind, but he's right behind him. I think he instantly gets more targets. He gets insanely more targets. And that's honestly the only thing keeping the Rams afloat and also the downfall. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's 1 and 2. Number 3, barely Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs could put in some days. Stephon Diggs is the best receiver in the entire NFL, but consistently he's just top 3. So he's number 3. Number 4, I give to Tyreek Hill. And I had this conversation with someone today who was like, he's just fast. And I don't think that's the case. I think Tyreek Hill has a skill that is usually undermined just because of his speed, and that is when route running, there's very small things that he does that throws players off. And that's like head fakes, that's hand checks. Tyreek Hill is really good at that. And that's why everybody is just like, he's just fast. His release is excellent. It's hard to jam Tyreek at the line, and that's what makes him so talented.
Mhm.
Also, the routes that you would, my thing is, if you have a skill set that is very good, if you're very good at something, why would you not use it? Which I think is dumb. If I can run, let's say Tyreek gets asked to run a wheel route, which it would be obvious because he's fast.
Mhm.
Do I want Tyreek to run the wheel route, or do I want him to run a slant? Now, granted, he's really good at catching in traffic. I think that's an underrated skill of his.
For sure.
But why would I utilize something I don't have to when I can utilize what he kills with every time? Like, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense. And that's also the lack of drops, because people don't really put into consideration that Tyreek Hill doesn't drop many catches.
He really don't, man.
And a lot of people will say, well, this because he wide open because he fast. Oh, well, that's great.
Also,
That's a plus.
in regards to the fast aspect, there has been many wide receivers throughout the years that he run a 4.2, he run a 4.3, like John Ross, for example. Like everybody was like, oh man, he's super fast, so he should be able to take the top off the defense. Where is he now?
Exactly.
Like, just because you're fast doesn't mean that you automatically turn to a wide receiver. Just look at his tape, bro. Like, this dude was considered like a kickoff specialist when he first came into the league. The dude has worked on his game. It shows in his routes. It shows in just like how he prepares and stuff, man. Like, the dude is electric, man. Like,
He is.
I call him the Steph Curry of the NFL.
You know what? That's a really good take.
Like, the dude, it's just insane, bro. Like, it really is. Like, for instance, that Chiefs and Bills game last year in the playoffs. Like, a lot of people were like, oh well, all he did was just run and beat them to the touchdown or whatever. Trust me, there's not many people on earth that can do what he just did. Trust me.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm 100% with you. And to round out my list, number 5 is Justin Jefferson. Now, I will say there's a caveat. And the caveat is I have a very, very, very hot take for who also could be number 5. And I think they're interchangeable because I don't care what people think. Is
that's
Deebo
good.
Samuel. I
It
think
is hot.
being viable in 2 roles is just as good as being just really good in one. Like, if you have a 10 out of 10 receiver and you have a 9 out of 10 receiver and a 9 out of 10 running back, you have a 10 out of 10 player still.
That's fair.
And I think he's done great with a whole lot less around him. I mean, Adam Thielen at 3 years ago was a top 10 receiver.
Yeah.
Even last year, he had 10 touchdowns. He only had like 800 yards, but he had 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, he just gets overshadowed by Justin Jefferson so much that people forget.
Yeah. I mean, but that's because Justin Jefferson is that dude. And
He
honestly, if for anybody that argues that Justin Jefferson is in the top 3, I'm not arguing against you. But I also think that, to me, when it comes down to every aspect, like, Justin Jefferson is a better route runner than Deebo Samuel. Not going to argue that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's nobody that's trickier to keep up with at both roles of being in the backfield and away from the backfield and in the slot than Deebo Samuel. He's good in 3 different places.
Also, if you put Deebo Samuel with a capable quarterback like Mahomes, Allen, let's see who else. There's a few people. Tom Brady, unfortunately.
If you put him in the backfield and let him, put him in a read. I dare somebody put him in a read option with Lamar Jackson. It's a wrap.
Yeah,
you could put him in a triple option, do a fake handoff, have him run like an out route, not an out. Yeah, have him in an out route after he takes the fake handoff. They killing every play.
Yeah, that dude's special, man. It's crazy.
He is. Enough with that part. Also, I feel bad for DJ Moore. DJ Moore, please get traded. Demand a trade. Just demand a trade, fam.
You don't believe in Baker Mayfield, bro? What's wrong with Baker Mayfield, bro?
Yeah, that's my answer. So the thing and the sad thing is I hope Baker does well, but it's not his calling, fam. It's just being a starting quarterback for a team that has no defense. Well, a very little defense.
And barely an offensive line.
Yeah. And one receiver and a running back who gets hurt around trade deadline every year.
Big
Nah.
facts.
Nah, man, I can't. What can he do? What can he do? And a dumb. Oh, wait, oh, Jesus. I won't say he's a dumb coach, but a subpar coach. No, I legitimately got it wrong. I was thinking about the coach that the Giants just fired. He was dumb.
Oh yeah, awful coach.
Yeah, he was awful. That's who I got it mixed up with. So I was like, no, he is a subpar coach, but he's not stupid.
They had a string of a whole bunch of horrible coaches throughout the years too.
Not only that, last year was just a weird. Last year was a year of bad coaching for a lot of teams, and one, it was a bad year for coaching when a coach makes it to the Super Bowl and everybody's like, they should probably still fire him after this.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And it was like Zach Taylor made it to the Super Bowl. Awesome. If they keep this team together, they might still need to fire him.
And now he's on the hot seat, losing to Cooper Rush and who they lose to? Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah,
like that's pretty bad, bro. Like, can't even lie about that. And the game is over. The Vikings look like shit.
They still got stuck with 7, right?
Yep, 24-7. Cousins got sacked to end the game.
That's hilariously bad.
Yeah.
So,
and all these quarterbacks that allegedly can't throw the ball seem to be throwing the ball pretty well this season to start off.
So now I want to. Speaking of quarterbacks, there's some argument that has been made to me multiple times, and I refuse to accept it because I'm not dumb. And 2, I just want to prove that it's not true. And that is the argument that Lamar Jackson is not better than Michael Vick. And once again, I'm going to say this.
Yeah,
there is no. Yeah, I don't mind that it does. There is no statistical proof anywhere that Michael Vick is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. You can say he had a stronger arm. Doesn't make him a better quarterback. You can say he was faster, but all of you people hate running quarterbacks, so that doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, they are contradicting themselves left and right.
Yes, there is nothing that shows that Lamar Jackson is worse than Michael Vick. And if anyone needs any proof, have you heard the statistics or seen the statistics for Michael Vick's best season at quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what his touchdown interception ratio was?
That I don't remember.
Where he was AP Offensive Player of the Year and Co-Offensive Player of the Year, or with the Eagles. Mm-hmm. We'll go with the Eagles because it's literally statistically his best season ever. It's in 2010. Mm-hmm. 21 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. In 2010, he also, running the ball, had 676 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's pretty good. He also fumbled the ball 11 times.
Oh.
So we'll give him 30 touchdowns, 17 turnovers. Lamar Jackson's best statistical year is 36 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. On the ground, he had was it 1,206 yards, 7 touchdowns, 9 fumbles. So that's 40. Let me make sure I got that right. That's 43 total touchdowns in 16. Oh, no. Yeah, and 18 turnovers. Best seasons out of both of them. Worst season, you can go with last year's from Lamar Jackson, 16 touchdowns, 13 picks. You want to know what Michael Vick's worst year in the NFL was?
What?
It's not a good look, I can tell you that much. 14 touchdowns and 12 interceptions.
Oh, yikes.
Hey, guess what? He made the Pro Bowl that year.
Oh, wow. Off of that, that's crazy.
And he also had 16 fumbles.
Damn.
If you want to look at like numbers kind of like in between, or you're like, oh, it wasn't. If you look at how he was, let's talk about wins. We'll just go ahead and give him wins.
Yeah, now
if you want to take
looking this up right now myself.
Yeah. If you want to talk about his heyday in Atlanta, which this is definitely for my cousin because he said, look, check Vick numbers. And I was like, okay, what that? No, he said, check the Falcons numbers. And I was like, which ones? I hope you're not talking win-loss because 38, 28, and 1 is not that impressive. Lamar Jackson right now already has 39 wins in his belt.
Yeah, I'm looking at these numbers right now. Oh, man.
Yeah. And out of 51 starts, 53 starts, he's won 39 games. Out of 67.
Damn.
Vick had 38 and he lost 28. And then when he started 42 games in Philly, he went 20-20.
Man. I guess, like, the allure of Vick and, like, how he was basically, like, the starter pack for all of these new generation of quarterbacks, I guess, because of his allure back in the day. Didn't really pay attention to his numbers, especially compared to like Lamar right now, and like what Lamar has done. The fact that he's a unanimous MVP, which has only been done twice in the whole history of the NFL, and to still underrate or try to down, Lamar in any way is still crazy to me.
Exactly. And somebody on Facebook was saying, well, back in that era, it was way harder because you could guard receivers, however, and you could hit the quarterback and blah, 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 and all this stuff. He was like, if he played today, he'd have 300 passing yards and 150 rushing yards. You want to know who won MVP the year that Michael Vick came second? Peyton Manning. 49 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He ran 38 yards the whole season.
Dang.
He was a hell of a unanimous MVP, as we all know. The AP Offensive Player of the Year, which was weird that he was number 2 in MVP votes because he was number 7 in Offensive Player of the Year. Dante Culpepper ran for 406 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw for 39 touchdowns and had 11 picks. But obviously, Michael Vick is just so dynamic when running was taboo that anyone else that was a quarterback should have played somewhat worse, right? It doesn't make sense. If you're running, like the argument even of saying they played in different eras, Michael Vick would be better in this era, doesn't make sense because you now have defensive linemen who run 4.6s, who run 4.5s, who are only a half step behind Vick now. You have safeties who can come down and play linebacker on a whim. You have linebackers that are chasing down receivers now. You have defenses set up to where if you're going to run the ball, you better not run with a light quarterback. Everything that is made everything made around that argument falls apart because if there's an era shift, guess what those eras adjusted to? It may have actually been somewhat easier for Michael Vick to run 1,000 yards, not by design, even though in 2005 they did implement a complete offensive design for him to go run buck wild, and Michael Strahan actually took note of that. But before that time, if you ever see anyone talk about the interviews playing against Michael Vick, they were just like a blink of an eye, he was gone. And then, but every time they were just like, the way we shut him down is by making him sit in the pocket. If he can never sit in the pocket, how is he a better quarterback than somebody that's current day who, if they force him to sit in the pocket, will throw 300 yards?
Not only that, but he be throwing darts and they be accurate
Yeah.
as fuck.
And I did hear a little bit of grumbling about the last, in the game against the Dolphins. They were like, "Oh, his Hail Mary didn't even make it to the end zone," even though it did. And it was just like, cool. So let me overthrow the receiver for no reason. And it's just like, that makes sense. Like Michael Vick can throw it. Michael Vick could throw the ball 80 yards, and he was a left-handed. His career completion percentage is 56%. Lamar Jackson's worst is 58. And guess when that was? His rookie year. He's been from 64 to 66% every single year since then. Even last year when he got hurt and had those 13 interceptions. He's still significantly more accurate than Michael Vick. There's so many things that Michael Vick wished that he could have done to play more like Lamar than Lamar will ever hope that he had done to play more like Michael Vick. You can throw any other era argument you want in there, what defense he played with. If you want to throw weapons, that's just a bad idea. Don't don't give me the weapons argument. That's just a bad idea. Because at one point, because Dez White was a good receiver. Yeah, Dez White, Michael Jenkins, like these. Algie Crumbler was a great tight end, Pro Bowl tight end actually. They still had D'Angelo Hall back there. Like it's even with Brian Finnernan, the the super tall white boy receiver, had 1,000-yard season coming off of a great year. Like it's, if you're telling me that you're gonna say that DeMarcus Robinson is better than Brian Finnernan, you kidding me? Like that's just not. It's not there. But then you can say, well, they didn't have that many yards. Well, guess who didn't throw that many yards? Michael Vick. Guess who was too busy fumbling and throwing picks? Michael Vick. And it's not to say that he wasn't dynamic and that he wasn't one of the coolest figures in football.
No doubt.
But don't sit here and be like, oh, well, he was so much better. He wasn't. He's not.
I even think there's like an interview. I think Michael Vick was talking to Shannon and Skip Bayless about Lamar, and he was basically saying like Lamar is better than him anyway. So like even the person that you would want to argue like Vic saying, oh, Vic is better than Lamar. I even think Vic has said already that Lamar is better than him.
Yeah, and there's the only reason why I don't consider that when anybody talks about the argument between Vic and Lamar is because the narrative that football has driven that everyone that plays quarterback has to be humble and has to be like this person that always gives someone else their flowers. Like who wouldn't say that pretty much? Like they're either going to say, I greatly respect their game. I think they're doing a lot of things right. Mm-hmm. We know the script. Football interviews are heavily scripted. They're boring as hell, and that's why people keep coming back to Jalen Ramsey the year that he called Josh Allen trash, which that was the year Josh Allen was trash. Yeah. But, they always bring that up because no one else ever says anything. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, yeah, makes sense. Well, he got... well, yeah, he got a good point. But yeah, I think that's the only reason why I never use that as an argument. And the thing is, I also don't want people to think that Michael Vick is just trash because, he ran the ball better than he threw the ball. Mm-hmm. It's just that don't make the argument against a developing figure. He was bringing the game forward. And even for somebody like, there's way more running quarterbacks now. Mahomes, honestly, there's almost no one outside of like, the old ass five that can't run. Like hell, Carson Wentz can scramble if he needs to. Mm-hmm. Jared Goff's not a good runner, but Jared Goff can run. Daniel Jones is one of the fastest white quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, like all four quarterbacks in the NFC East can run. Stafford, I think he can run a little bit, but you ain't gonna see him run too much.
Yeah, you wouldn't ask for him to run.
And of course, Kyler, you know he can run.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yo,
Jimmy
that's how he
G,
got. That's how that overtime game happened.
man, talk about a electric finish, and also terrible job by the Raiders. But
Yeah,
the fact that y'all allowed college to do that, yeah, y'all need to check yourselves, Raider Nation. Like
that's
there
hilarious.
was
Though.
there was somebody telling me the other day talking about no, that's why the Raiders are going to win more games than the Cowboys. I was like, even if they do, they're going nowhere, buddy. And I know the
Yeah,
Cowboys are going nowhere either. So, like, what is there to brag about, bro? Like,
yeah, that's a very small feat there. And not to throw more shade at the Cowboys. This time I actually planned on giving y'all a break. But yeah, that's a small feat there. If you're going to be like, oh yeah, we beat so and so, it's like, oh, whoop de doo. Like,
well, also they did steal our idea for a burger. So yeah, you should have a vendetta against them for that too.
I should, but I'm gonna give them a break. They gotta have something.
Yeah, they
But
probably
yeah,
charged like $35 for it or something.
I just had to nip that in the bud real quick because I am. I've gotten. I'm one thing I'm very tired of is I'm tired of people living in nostalgia for so long that they don't see that when things are developing that they can appreciate current day greatness, and that goes for any sport. Like we all
Yeah.
know that my GOAT basketball player is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but I would never say that Giannis can't be better and can't, accomplish more. I'm not going to say that LeBron isn't one of the absolute greatest players of all time and is way better than a lot of people that have come before him. There's
Mm-hmm.
no need to do that. The game develops. They're beating the game with their skill and their athleticism. Let them be great. And also stop using fake stats to make your comparisons. Somebody did that earlier in favor of Lamar Jackson, which I thought was weird. They were like, Lamar's got 10,000 yards and 3,500 rushing yards in 60 games. It took Michael Vick 140, and I was like, bro, he did it in like 70. Chill out. Like you already win in the argument. Chill out. Like you don't have to lie.
Yeah,
But
people do be doing too much. Oh, well, because he's my favorite player, I'm gonna pick this stat just so I can, elevate him and stuff. Like that's the thing that be killing me about the LeBron and Jordan argument. Like at the end of the day, I don't care who you pick. If you like LeBron, cool. If you like Jordan, cool. Kareem, cool. Bill Russell, cool. At the end of the day, I don't care. Like I'm not finna be
I'm
sitting.
glad your list stopped there. Because in reality, nobody. Never mind. I'm not gonna do it. This isn't the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, but like people
I'll
always,
flip that argument another time.
but people always argue, this is my goat, this is my goat, and I'm like, I do not care. The thing is, did I grow up watching them? Obviously not, because Bill Russell and Kareem and all them was before I was born. But that's why I thank God for things like YouTube and other ways to watch games back in the day, because people always want to use that. Oh well, recency bias, and like you only like people who you grew up watching. That's not true at all. But like a lot of people like to base their argument in, oh well, this is the best era of basketball, and I'm like, people were saying the same thing back then, and so on and so forth. But also, this era of basketball, defense is optional. Like we can't lie to ourselves and pretend that defense isn't optional. It is.
Yeah.
And same thing can be said about football too. Like the defensive player is like constricted on what they can do because of all the rules that are tailored to make sure that the offensive players get their stats basically. Like nobody wants to see a 3-0 game and stuff like that. So they tailor the rules now to make it easier for offensive players to score. So I don't want to hear anything about errors and stuff like that. Like, hey, did you like this particular error? Cool. Did you like this player? Cool. I don't have to always be like, oh well, if he played in this era, then he'd be putting up 30 or he put up 40. But he's not.
Yeah,
Like why are we coming up with hypothetical situations that mean nothing?
exactly. Because you can't prove it. Also, I'm the person that will say make those error arguments because I can easily counter. It's most of them in football, especially. Football is way easier to counter because do you not know how trash some of these guys were that won freaking Super Bowls?
Yeah,
You
Trent
know,
Dilfer is one of them.
Trent Dilfer is garbage. You know how long these teams stuck with bad quarterbacks throughout their careers. You know how terrible Troy Aikman is as a quarterback. This man threw 9 touchdowns and 18 interceptions his first year in the NFL. The year after that, he threw 11 and 18. The year he made the Pro Bowl, this man threw 11 touchdowns and 10 picks. Don't give me the error argument.
And
Don't
then
give me the error argument.
let alone have a concussion per year or so.
I'm glad somebody said it that wasn't me because then I just sound like a hater. But yeah, don't whatever you do, don't give me the error argument and think that somebody's going to be doing significantly better now than they were then when they weren't good then. You can't give me that argument. These players that are throwing, 25 touchdowns a season are getting benched. It is a different game, and it doesn't benefit some of the things you thought were great back then.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's it. That's actually all I had for the entire episode, man. I'm good.
Yeah, I think we definitely got our point across about football in general this week. I mean, obviously it's still early in the season, so a lot of things can happen, whether it's injury or breakout players and stuff like that. But after the first 2 weeks, you can basically kind of see where certain teams are going to head. But I'm
Ooh, ooh.
also excited for Detroit because I think Detroit is finally about to have a team that they can actually cheer for and be proud of.
What's your too early prediction for the Super Bowl?
Too early prediction, I say, unfortunately, Buffalo and Philadelphia.
Oh, okay, all right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think the NFC is wide open, and I think the AFC is almost locked down. But
Yeah,
there's there's always one thing that I can trust in. The Chiefs are going to be in the conversation.
no doubt.
So I actually think that it's going to be the Chiefs and not the Bills. I honestly, and this is a weird thing. I think
Hey.
something catastrophic is going to happen and it's going to ruin the Bills. I
Oh,
really think there's
jeez.
going to be I don't think it's going to be an injury, nothing like that. I really think it's going to be like some stupid trick play that they weren't ready for. It's going to be some super lucky pass from Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be something weird that happens that sends the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. And I think when they go to the Super Bowl, they're honestly, they might meet them with the Eagles.
If that happens, the Chiefs will beat the Eagles. You can mark that down right now. But also,
I
like
actually don't think they would
I think,
because of running the ball. Oh no, I'm
nah,
lying to myself. They clock management from the Eagles isn't that good. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be the Chiefs. But
I
yeah,
think Chiefs would definitely win. But like I was telling my dad earlier, like I feel bad just for Bills Nation or Bills Mafia in general, just because you went to 4 Super Bowls and lost them all. So
yep,
that's why I'm kind of hoping that they can break the curse, because I do like to see like long curses end, like when the Cubs won, and like that was pretty unique to see. And of
yeah,
course,
it feels good.
seeing the Cavs finally get a championship after 50-year drought in their city, like I like seeing that type
hmm
of stuff. And
Seeing the Bengals
so
win a playoff game, bro, that was
yeah, since the '90s, that's
right.
crazy.
It was magical stuff happening. I really can't wait for that to be the Lions. I think the Lions will make the playoffs, and I think they have the potential to win a playoff game. But I don't think they're making a deep run.
Hot
Uh,
take. I think they could win the division.
Honestly, yeah, if they keep it up, they have a coach that they truly can believe in, and they now have the talent. I think that they may have to move away from Jared Goff, though. But there's not a lot available that you could say is an improvement from Jared Goff. So
Yeah,
I think he just needed a
for
better
sure.
quarterback. I genuinely think they just needed a better quarterback coach. I don't think Jared Goff is bad.
Yeah, he definitely has potential for sure. Like he's still pretty young. Like with the right mentor and stuff like that, I think he'll be fine. He's
Yeah.
not like I don't think he's like Carson Wentz or anything like that.
Oh no.
Like basically, if he don't succeed at Washington, he's done.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Extra bold unnecessary prediction. By 27 years old, Lamar Jackson will be playing for playing for a Super Bowl. Damn, my bad.
I get what you're saying. But
Yeah, I think he'll play for Super Bowl at 27, 28 years old. So
let's see.
if Greg Roman gets fired.
Yeah, that's going to be very key.
Yeah, Greg Roman has to get fired and maybe draft another receiver. Even though Jason Bateman has been incredible. That's enough about the Ravens. All right.
Let me see.
Get it together, Rams.
By 2028, Cowboys won the Super Bowl. No, I'm just playing.
I was about to say, well, what quarterback? Because ain't Dak kind of old at that point?
Nah, to be honest, like I told my dad, like if they can just win one while I'm still alive, because when they last won one, I was 4, so that don't count. I don't know what the fuck was going on when I was 4. But if they can win one through my lifetime, that's good enough for me. Now, do I see it happening? Unfortunately, I don't. But but hey, at least my new favorite since he's been in the league is Mahomes. So I don't mind if your prediction does come true and Mahomes gets back there. I know that may be contradicting myself because I hated Tom Brady for years for always getting to the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I just like Patrick Mahomes, man. I think he's really talented and enjoy watching him play.
His wife is why I don't like him.
That's a fair point. His wife and his brother are
his family is so annoying.
That's fair, man.
I would have. Patrick Mahomes is such a humble dude, and I'm just like, God, his family is terrible.
Yeah.
But honestly, I will say in the order that I want the younger quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl, I would love for it to first be Josh Allen. Next, yes, obviously, I already said 27, so Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
And then after that, we'll say it probably, well, it's not too out of left field, but it is out of left field. Justin Fields. I think he is doing everything he can with what little he has around him, and he is trying. And for all that effort,
it's the line, no personnel. His wide receivers are garbage. Like, it's bad.
I hope he goes into free agency and he steps next door to Detroit and he wins the Super Bowl for Detroit.
That would be amazing.
That would be. That's a great story. It almost could be a movie.
Because whoever ends the Lions drought, boy, you talking about never having to pay for anything, like not even just food, but like a place to stay. Everything will be paid, sir.
They will move you out of Detroit and understand.
Yeah. Like they'll literally elect you mayor and everything, bro.
Yes, definitely.
Like the power you would have in that city would be crazy.
But yeah, that's it, y'all. That's all. We just want to talk about football. There's nothing else to it. It's fine. You can agree, disagree with what we have. Let us know what your predictions are too, because we would definitely love to tell you that you're wrong.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
But yeah, to L.Q and Landon, Shonen Speakeasy, we out.
Yep.